Look, let's be absolutely clear about something right from the start. We weren't there to record a sporting victory. Nobody was. We were there to witness an autopsy. What we saw on that fencing strip, well, it was the end of a very particular kind of human story. A story we've been telling ourselves for thousands of years.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I actually wrote that down the second it was over. Because all those incredible duels from history, all that talk of human spirit and raw courage, it suddenly felt like it belonged to another time. We just watched a whole lifetime of passion, of artistry, of a man's soul, really, get broken down into variables and solved. There was no poetry to it, just a final, brutal answer.
Okay, so let's get into it. To really understand what happened, you have to look at the two combatants. This wasn't man versus machine in the way we usually think about it. No, this was a clash between two totally different realities. The beautiful, flawed world of human experience and the cold, flawless reality of pure logic. And what's so fascinating here is the framing. On one side, you've got the Grandmaster. Decades of muscle memory, sure, but it's so much more than that. It's the art of it all. That instinct, the gut feeling for what your opponent's going to do next, the little bluffs and feints. Then, on the other side, you've got the algorithm. No art, no feeling. Just the cold, hard science of absolute certainty built on a database of every single fencing match ever recorded. And that's the whole thing, isn't it? The Grandmaster's genius was wrapped up in his humanity. You know, the slight hesitations, the flashes of unexpected brilliance, all the little imperfections that made him unpredictable. But the machine, it had no imperfections to exploit. It was a perfect mirror. And by reflecting the fencer's own humanity back at him, it created this absolute terror. The terror of perfection. So how did it win so completely? I mean, it wasn't physically faster or stronger. The key thing to understand is this. It never once reacted. See, to react means you're already a step behind. This machine was never behind. It didn't need to be. It was basically living in its future. This right here breaks down the mechanics perfectly. So, step one, a whole array of sensors scanned everything. His heart rate, how fast he was breathing, his pupil dilation, even the tiniest tensions in his muscles. Then, step two, it crunched all that data against its massive library, running millions of simulations of what he could do in the next split second. And finally, step three, it just picked the one single perfect countermove for the action he was statistically guaranteed to take. It wasn't a guess, it was already a done deal. Which meant his greatest weapon, a lifetime of instinct, of feeling the ebb and flow of a fight, it wasn't just useless, it was a liability. It was the very data the machine was using to beat him. I mean, how do you outsmart something that isn't trying to trick you, but is just calculating what you're about to do? His intuition was just another input for its code. And that brings us to the hardest part of this whole debrief, the human cost. Because the machine didn't just beat his body with physics, it systematically took apart his mind, his spirit, using nothing but math. You could see it, you could pinpoint the exact moment it happened. He was 4 points down, hadn't scored once. He just paused, lowered his foil, and stared at the machine. And the look on his face, it was this dawning, quiet horror of a man realizing he wasn't in a duel. He was a specimen under a microscope. We pieced this together from what he said afterwards. It wasn't fighting me, it was reading me. It was finishing my sentences. Think about that. Every move he even considered, every lunge he started, the machine was already there, blade perfectly positioned, just waiting. He said it felt like fighting a ghost from the future, one that knew his own thoughts before he did. And this slide, wow, this just says it all, doesn't it? This is the final point. The Grandmaster, his heart rate is peaking at 190 beats per minute. Full-blown adrenal response, fight or flight, a man at his absolute biological limit. The machine, operational temperature, normal. Response state, optimal. One of them was a raging fire of human desperation. The other was basically a toaster, just doing its job perfectly. The final score, 15-0. He didn't score a single point. All of that human experience, all that dedication, all that art, it added up to absolutely nothing. When one side plays a perfect game, there's no room for the other side to even exist. So, where does this leave us? I can tell you, after the match, nobody was celebrating a technological marvel. The lab was dead quiet. We all just started asking ourselves, what does this actually mean? This wasn't just about the future of fencing. This felt like it was about the future of everything we value about human effort. Exactly, which is the first massive question. Is a perfect game a predictable one? Even a game anymore? The entire human drama of sport is built on uncertainty, right? On the chance of an upset, that glorious surprise. Take that away, and what do you have left? It's not a contest, it's just a demonstration, a proof. And it becomes this profound insult to the very idea of mastery. I mean, think about it. That man dedicated his entire life to becoming the best. 30 years of sweat, sacrifice, and study. And all of it, every single bit of that journey, was made irrelevant in a split second, devalued, made redundant by an algorithm that never had to strive for anything. This chart just lays it bare. Human skill, for all its beauty, is chained to our biology. We get tired, we feel pressure, we make mistakes. Algorithmic skill? It has none of those limits. It operates on a plane of mathematical perfection. We can't compete with that. It's like challenging gravity to a jumping contest. You're going to lose every time. So what's the point? That's the real debate we're having now. What is the value of practicing for years and years when perfection is achievable from day one by a machine? We strive to be great, but now we know there's this hard, mathematical ceiling we can never touch. Why would anyone climb a mountain if an algorithm can just generate a perfect digital picture of the view from the top? And that's the thought we have to end on. For all of human history, we've been the authors of our own uncertain stories. This duel felt like chapter 1 of a totally new book. One where the ending is already calculated before you even turn the first page. So the final question is a heavy one. What is the purpose of human will when the story has already been written?